Once again, hello everyone. I am Roseto de Orquesta, and again, welcome to Pantas Malaya. So, for today, as a continuation on our previous topic about writing a college thesis, today we are going to talk about um, the review of related literature and studies. So, what is the significance of having a related literature or a review on related literature and studies in your thesis documentation? Is that with this part or with these steps undertaken during a thesis writing, the researcher are able to formulate a solid theoretical and conceptual framework for their research study. So basically, a related literature is or our existing research, existing knowledge that is with regards or related to your specific topics for your thesis. So a literature review is a survey of scholarly resources on a specific topic. It provides an overview of current knowledge, allowing you to identify relevant theories, methods, and gaps in the existing research. Writing a literature review involves finding relevant publications such as books, journal, or journal articles, critically analyzing them, and explaining what you found. That is how you create or develop your literature review. So there are at least 5 steps in writing a literature review or the review of your related literature. Number 1 is search for relevant literature, then evaluate your sources, identify themes, debates, and gaps, outline the structure of your literature review, then finalize or write your literature review. A good literature review doesn't just summarize sources. What it does is it analyzes, synthesizes, and critically evaluates to give a clear picture of the state of knowledge on the subject. So that is the quality of a good literature review. It should be analyzing, synthesizing, and critically evaluates just to give a clear picture of the state of knowledge on the subject. Why do we need to write a literature review or related review literature in your thesis? This is your whole chapter 2, the content of your chapter 2 in your manuscript. Review on related literature or RRL. This because when you write a thesis or research paper, you will have to conduct a literature review to situate your research with an existing knowledge. So the literature review gives you a chance to demonstrate your familiarity with the topic and scholarly context, develop a theoretical framework and methodology for your research. So your theoretical and conceptual framework will be found in your chapter 1, right? But before you can do it, or say to effectively formulate your theoretical and conceptual framework, you have to do readings, you have to do reviews on existing knowledge or research in relation to your current research paper. That is why you have to read publications, books, journals, news, and other repositories so that you can have a solid theoretical and conceptual framework in your research that is found in your chapter 1. So additional reason why to write a literature review is to position yourself in relation to other researchers and theories. Show how your research addresses a gap or contributes to a debate. Because a research or a thesis is to solve a problem. So there must be an existing problem before you conduct research writing or thesis writing. And then, since there is a problem, probably there are other people or researchers which has the same outlook with you, trying to solve that problem, trying to address that problem. And some of those had written or published their research on that particular problem. So those research or those publications, those documents are what we call the literature, the body of knowledge that is already published, already exists. So those literature you have to review. Those are the literature you have to review in order for your research, your own research, to address a gap or contributes to the current debate. So you are going to add another related literature in the body of knowledge in the scientific community. That is the reason why we have to write a literature review. So since there are five steps in there are 5 steps to follow in writing a literature review, so let's talk about these steps. The first one is search for relevant literature. So before you begin searching for literature, you need a clearly defined topic. So since the review of related literature is in chapter 2, so that means you already have established a clear definition of your topic. You have already your research problems, your problem statements. So if you are writing the literature review section of a research paper or a thesis, you will search for literature related to your research problem and questions. Okay? So where can you find those research problem or the questions? It is in your chapter 1, your research problem, the specific or the general objectives. Those are your problems. The questions or the problems or the gaps that you want to address in your research. So if you are writing a literature review, you should have already established your research problems. Okay. So say for example your research question is something like, what is the impact of social media in the development of education in the Philippines? As you can see, most Filipinos, most Generation Z especially, are almost into social media like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So for example, that is your question. So what is the impact of social media in the education of the Philippines? So with that question, you are going to find a relevant literature or research study, existing research study, that talks about the impact of social media into education. And you will going to align your own research to that existing studies. Okay, so that is number 1. So you must have your questions first before you search for relevant literature. Or from your title, so you have your research title, you can extract keywords from your research title. So for example, the title of your research or thesis is about say for example the title of your research is about something like this: the positive and negative effect of social media in the education system of the Philippines during the pandemic. That is your thesis title, for example. So out from that thesis title, you are going to extract a list of words. I say, for example, pandemic, um, social media, Philippine education. So those keywords could be used in searching a relevant literature or studies. So there are a lot of sources where you can find articles or related studies for your research. So for example, you can go to Google Scholar, the GSTUR, EBSCO, or ABS-CIO, Project Muse for Humanities and Social Science. You can go to Medline for Life Sciences and Biomedicine, or Econlet for Economics, or NSPIC for Physics, Engineering, and Computer Science. Or you can visit the um, Elsevier. Yeah, you can have Elsevier or IEEE for IT related researches or publications. So there are a lot of sources online. There are some of them are free and some of them are can be acquired after messaging or asking permission to the author, or having to pay a certain amount or a certain uh, dollar for the resource or for the study, for the research, for the whole manuscript. So that is the first step in preparing, writing a review literature or literature review. Step 2 is to evaluate and select sources. So now that you have your keywords, now that you have your research problem, and you are now ready to search for for your related literature, you probably won't be able to read absolutely everything that has been written on the topic. You'll have to evaluate which sources are most relevant to your questions. So don't be like because you have searched your keyword or your questions and there are results in your browser or in the site you have visited, you are going to grab those results and make a review on those sources. No, it's not the right steps, but you have to at least read the abstract, the methods used, the problems addressed into that study or review, and then the methodology used, conceptual and the concepts or conceptual framework it used, or the theoretical it used, and then the conclusions and recommendations. So you have to be picky. You have to evaluate the content. What are really the content of that say for example book, or what that journal article, that publication, is it really aligned to your research problem? It's not just we talk about social media, so this research is also talking about social media, so I have to include this in my literature review. So that's not it. You have to be aligned to the gap. Okay, so you have to ask yourself these questions. What question or problem is the author addressing in that research? So what are the key concepts and how are they defined? What are the key theories, models, and methods does the research use? Establish framework or take an innovative approach. What are the results and conclusions of the study? How does the publication relate to other literature in the field? Does it confirm, add to, or challenge established knowledge? How does the publication contribute to your understanding of the topic? What are its key insights and arguments? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the research? So you have to ask those questions yourself. You ask yourself those questions in evaluating your source for your literature review. So make sure the sources you use are credible, and make sure you read any landmark studies and major theories in your field of research, because there are also websites publishing research topics, research study, but they are not credible. They are just uh, unsuccessful research study. So you have to look for research that has DOI, that is, or that are recognized. You may read the comments in the forums if that website is credible. The research or the publications published in that research in that website is credible. They are not, then forget it. Do not add it into your research and your literature review. So you can find out how many times an article has been cited on Google Scholar. A high citation count means the article has been influential in the field and should certainly be included in your literature review. And the scope of your review will depend on your topic and discipline. In the sciences, you usually only review recent literature, but in the humanities, you might take a long historical perspective. So it depends. Now, in information technology, you have to at least not later than 5 years. Okay, so 5 years back is still okay if you have that literature review, but also depends on your topic. If your topic is talking about there are topics that needs to take literature from way back 1980s or 70s, it's still acceptable. As it really depends on your topic, but most recommended is at least 5 years back. Then take notes and cite your sources. Do not forget to cite your sources. You have to avoid plagiarism. So as you read, you should also begin the writing process. Take notes that you can later incorporate into the text of your literature review. So it is important to keep track of your sources with citations to avoid plagiarism. So it can be helpful to make an annotated bibliography where you compile a full citation information and write a paragraph of summary and analysis for each sources. So this helps you remember what you read and saves time later in the process. The most effective or the most advised style in writing a citation is the APA citation style, or you can use the MLA, or no, SAM, for information and communications technology, or in the field of IT. You can use either APA or the ACM citation style. So after that step 2, you are now ready to step 3, which is to identify themes, debates, and gaps. So to begin organizing your literature review, arguments, and structure, you need to understand the connections and relationships between the sources you've read. Based on your reading and notes, you can look for trends and patterns in theory, method, or results. Do certain approaches become more or less popular over time? And then themes. What questions or concepts recur across the literature? Debates, conflicts, and contradictions, like where do sources disagree? Pivotal publications. Are there any influential theories or studies that change the direction of the field? And gaps. What is missing from the literature? Are there weaknesses that need to be addressed? So those five are the things you have to consider in step 3 in writing your literature review, because this step will help you work out the structure of your literature review and, if applicable, show how your own research will contribute to the existing knowledge. And after that step 3, you have to move to step 4, which is outline your literature review, the structure. So there are various approaches to organizing the body of literature review. You should have a rough idea of your strategy before you start writing. So depending on the length of your literature review, you can combine several of these strategies. For example, your overall structure might be thematic, but each theme is discussed chronologically. So we have 4. In outlining your literature review, the structuring, you can use either chronological, thematic, methodological, or theoretical. If we say chronological, it is the simplest approach, which is to trace the development of the topic over time. However, if you choose this strategy, be careful to avoid simply listing and summarizing sources in order. Try to analyze the patterns or turning points and key debates that have shaped the direction of the field. Give your interpretation of how and why developments occurred. That is the chronological. If you want a thematic structure, if you have found some recurring central themes, you can organize your literature review into subsections that address different aspects of the topic. And then, for example, if you are reviewing literature about inequalities in migrant health outcomes, key themes might include healthcare policy, language barriers, cultural attitudes, legal status, and economic access. So you are going to talk about that in a thematic. But if you are going to use methodological, so if you draw your sources from different disciplines or fields that use a variety of research methods, you might want to compare results and conclusions that emerge from different approaches. Like for example, look at what results have emerged in qualitative versus quantitative research, or discuss how the topic has been approached by empirical versus theoretical scholarship, or divide the literature into sociological, historical, and cultural sources. So that is the methodological. Now in theoretical, the literature review is often the foundation for a theoretical framework. You can use it to discuss various theories, models, and definitions of key concepts. So you might argue for the relevance of a specific theoretical approach or combine various theoretical concepts to create a framework for your research. And then mostly for the ICT or IT education research or thesis, we use the theoretical. We build theories. We look on theories and theoretical framework of an existing research study or research literature, so that we can provide a new theoretical or conceptual, or we can create a new conceptual framework based on the theory that we have read or the theory published. So from that theory published, we devise our own theories, or our theoretical framework rather, and then our conceptual framework. So after step 4, the step 5 is to write your literature review. So now that you have searched for a relevant literature, you have already evaluated your sources, and then you have already identified the themes, debates, and gaps, and also you have already your outline for the literature review, or your structure. Now you are going to finalize your literature review. So you are going to write now your review. So like any other academic text, your literature review should have an introduction, a main body, and a conclusion. So what you include in each depends on the objectives of your literature review. So for example, in the introduction, you should clearly establish the focus and purpose of the literature review. So in thesis, this is an example. If you are writing a thesis, so in introduction, you can write something like this. So if you are writing the literature review as part of your dissertation or thesis, reiterate your central problem or research question and give a brief summary of the scholarly context. So you can emphasize the timelines of the topic. So many recent studies have focused on the problem of X, or highlight a gap in a literature review, or while there has been, say for example, while there has been much research on X, few researchers have taken Y into consideration. So that is a gap. The Y is the gap. So most research is onto the X, but few have considered the existence of Y. That is to highlighting the gap in your introduction. The other one is to emphasize the timeliness of the topic. Like many recent studies have focused on the problem of X. Okay. And then the body of your literature review. This is the second part of your literature review. So depending on the length of your literature review, you might want to divide the body into subsections. You can use a subheading for each theme, time period, or methodological approach. As you write, you can follow the steps. 1. Summarize and synthesize. Give an overview of the main points of each source and combine them into a coherent whole. Second is analyze and interpret. Don't just paraphrase other researchers. Add your own interpretations where possible, discussing the significance of findings in relation to your literature as a whole. And then critically evaluate, you have to mention the strengths and weaknesses of your sources. The last one is write in well-structured paragraphs. Use transition words and topic sentences to draw the connections and comparisons, as well as the contrast of each topic. Then the last part of your review or literature review is your conclusion. So in the conclusion, you should summarize the key findings you have taken from the literature and emphasize their significance in your research. So it's not just you are having reviewed a literature or a current study or existing study or journal or a book, but you have to draw conclusions from those materials, from those existing knowledge. You have to draw your conclusion. You have to explain what are the importance, or you have to emphasize the significance of those materials in your own research study, in your own thesis. So it's not enough that you have reviewed and included it in your chapter 2 for your manuscript, but you have to draw a conclusion. How are those those literature or those research study affect your own research? What are the significance? So you have to build that in your conclusion. So if the literature review is part of your thesis, show how your research addresses gaps and contributions or contributes new knowledge, and also how it discuss how you have drawn on existing theories and methods to build the framework of your research. So that is how you build your conclusion for your literature review. Okay. So remember that your related literatures and studies could be published or unpublished research study. It could be a journal paper. It could be a book. It could be a news. It could be an article in in a case or any papers that could be a valid source for your research, that it does not come from social media or personal blog. It should be from sources which are credible. uh, that is how you identify your related literature sources or related studies. So remember or note that the theoretical background or your theoretical framework in your chapter 1, as well as in the related studies, should include the following: theorems. You should discuss the theorems, the definitions, the fundamental algorithms, the mathematical models or formula, proposed solution of the problem, results and discussions. This includes theoretical proof, verification, and evidence. And then the last one is conclusions and recommendations. So these seven uh, things or seven important factors are what you have to review or include in your uh, review of related literature in your related studies. So it's not just enough that you have found a research which is or which talks the same thing with your current research, but it must be discussed in terms of theorems, definitions, fundamental algorithms, mathematical models or formula. If there is proposed solution to the problem, the gap addressed in that study, the results and discussion of that study, and what are the conclusions and recommendations of that study. Because from those seven key key points, or those seven important parts of the study of the literature, you can build your own theoretical and conceptual framework for your chapter 1, for your own research, for your own thesis. Okay, so that is how, or that is why reviewing a related literature is important. That is the significance of having a literature review in your manuscript or in your thesis writing. So that's all for today. I hope you have learned from this discussion. You can ask me questions, just write it in the comment below. So thank you.